My kids go to school in Jersey Village.
Your commute is coming up at 20 past on 740 KTRH.
Houston's Morning News at 7:18. Bob France in for Matt Patrick once again. The latest on the Ethan Couch saga. Attorney Scott Palmer has been following this story and reporting on it for, really the last couple of years since the actual tragic death of 4 people at the wheel, if you will, of Ethan Couch, a 16-year-old drunk driver. Scott, thank you so much for your time this morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Bob. I'm fine. How are you?
All right. Well, I'm good, although I'm I'm a little perplexed here. Now, I'm obviously not an attorney, which is why we have you on for your expertise, but I'm sitting here just thinking as a common sensible person. If you violate probation, a probation, by the way, you never should have gotten. He should have been sentenced to prison for the murder of 4 people anyway. But if you violate that probation 3 different ways, 1, by partaking in alcohol at an alcohol party, 2, by missing your appointed meeting with your probation officer, and 3, by leaving the country without permission, shouldn't probation be revoked and now he be sentenced automatically to prison?
Well, it's a little bit more complicated, unfortunately, under Texas law. Yeah, there's nothing simple about this case. It has another wrinkle to it. He has been sentenced by a juvenile court to probation. Mm-hmm. The juvenile court has jurisdiction over him until he's 19. So the most that he could get once he's extradited to Texas is till his 19th birthday. They can lock him up till he's 19. At that point, they could transfer his case to the adult court, but he starts over. He starts clean. And if he doesn't mess up, which, what
does that mean, starts clean? So let's go back for a second. What if he gets transferred to the adult court?
So he would have to have another new violation after being transferred to adult court. These violations that we're talking about right now, his leaving the country, his attending this party, not reporting to his probation officer, would have been already adjudicated. They've been taken care of, and they cannot use those against him if he's already served time for those particular infractions. So he'd be a new probationer in adult court, and he'd basically start fresh. And with his track record, I doubt it would take long for him to mess up again, but only time will tell. But he will not be able to be sentenced to prison, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, until such time as his case is transferred to adult court, which will only happen after he turns 19. Which is
so what people talk about the broken criminal justice system all the time. How on earth is it possible for somebody to kill 4 people and then violate the terms of his ridiculously lenient probation sentence that he receives and still not get sentenced to prison? It seems like the system is built to keep this young, snot-nosed, affluent punk out of jail.
Well, I hear the frustration, and you're absolutely correct. Juvenile law is different than adult law, and that's where that people are going to have to understand that juveniles are treated differently. Now, you can certify a juvenile to be an adult, then depending on their crime. This wasn't a crime that the state felt they could or should even certify. Looking back on it, 4 dead, 4 innocent people dead,
right.
At the hands of this. Maybe if this was a case that could have been certified, and I haven't done the research on that, but I don't think they could have done it. So I think they were stuck with having him either plead true or go to trial. He pled true to the allegations, and he was put on juvenile probation. He should have been, and the anger was that they should have put him in placement. They should have locked him up and put him in a juvenile detention facility, which is tantamount to prison, but it's not prison.
Let me jump in for a second. Attorney Scott Palmer is our guest. I want to talk about Mom, too, and what her role in all of this is and what potential punishment she faces, but I need to get traffic here, so hang with me for a second if you could. Traffic and weather now at 7:22. We'll check in with Kelly Steve.
Your forecast is at the bottom of the hour on 740 KTRH.
Mad skills as a surgeon. Scott Palmer's got mad skills as an attorney, and he's breaking down this Ethan Couch story for us. All right, so now you're giving us the terribly, ridiculously bad news about Ethan Couch, who's not going to be held accountable for his crime seemingly ever, and his flouting of the rules of his probation. Let's talk about Mom. She whisked him away to a foreign country to hide out so that he wouldn't have to face any potential music for violating his probation. She is easily aiding and abetting a known fugitive when he runs to Mexico, is she not? We lost Scott Palmer. All right, that's a problem. We'll see if we can get him back on the air. We would like to continue this conversation. We do have him back? All right, I can't hear you, Chris, so I don't know if we have him back or not. We do have him back. Attorney Palmer, you with us, sir? Okay, I'm not hearing him.
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I got you, sir. All right, sorry about that. We're a little short on time here, so just very briefly, we know about Ethan now from what you told us, but let's talk about Mom. She whisked him away to a foreign country, presumably to avoid any repercussions for his violating his probation. They dyed his hair, dyed his beard. She participated, and aided and abetted this fugitive from justice. What is she facing, if anything?
Well, certainly misdemeanor charges for either obstruction of justice or hindering the apprehension of a fugitive. I'm sure the Tarrant County officials are also going to look in to see whether or not she, by crossing the international border with Mexico, she committed any federal offense. Federal offenses that always have a little bit harsher punishments, and they have more teeth to them. So I'm sure they're going to look into whether she committed any federal offenses. But right now, it looks like the state charge of hindering the apprehension of her own son, and which usually is a misdemeanor, but I do not feel like she's going to have much of a defense. I mean, she's going to certainly say, we were going on vacation. But all the evidence looks like they were secreting themselves in a place they wouldn't be found. They dyed their hair, like you said, and they were not going to turn themselves in. Had they surrendered and came forward before being actually apprehended, things may go different for her, but she's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Tarrant County officials are going to have no love lost for her. She's basically public enemy number 2 in this whole scenario, and she's going to have a hard time defending herself on this. I promise you that. A
lot of people have been asking, where's Dad in all of this? Do you have any knowledge? Are they still together? Do they all still live together?
The last report I heard was that they are estranged, and he has been conspicuously silent on this whole deal. So I don't know if they are not living together as a couple married anymore, but he has been out of the picture so far as locating them. They have not. According to what I understood, there was no communication between the Couches on the run with anybody in Texas. So, which is another strange sign. You don't go on vacation and just leave everybody behind and have zero communication with your own husband or father. So I think he's out of the picture and not going to be part of this at all from what I see.
All right. Scott Palmer, attorney, thanks so much for your expertise on this, Scott. We appreciate it. I hope to talk to you again soon.
My pleasure.
All right, 7:27. Let's get